a dispute between India and Italy may seem to have finally been resolved. A judge in India barred the ambassador from Italy from leaving the country. Late last year, 2 Marines from Italy were said to go on trial because they were accused of murdering 2 fishermen. India allowed them to go home to Italy for Christmas and to vote in national elections. However, earlier this week, the Italian government in Rome said that they would not return the Marines because they were concerned that they might not receive a fair trial and that the killings occurred in international waters. The killings occurred when the Marines were protecting a tanker that was in the Arabian Gulf from pirates that have been operating in that area from Somalia. The European Union complained to the government of India that the judge's ruling violated a basic international law. According to international law, ambassadors and other diplomats have immunity. Let's look at some vocabulary. To bar. To bar is a verb. To bar is to not allow somebody to do something. So if you bar someone from leaving the country, for example, that means you are not going to allow that person to leave the country. So you bar someone from doing something, you don't allow them to do it. A parent can bar their children from doing something they don't want to do. They can bar their children from going out late on a school night, for example. All right. Ambassador. An ambassador is the highest diplomat, 最高的外交, sent to another country. So you have relations with another country. Yeah. Taiwan has relations with other countries, for example, Mali in Africa. So Taiwan has an ambassador in Mali. He is the highest representative of Taiwan's government in Mali's capital of Bamako. Similarly, Mali has an ambassador here in Taiwan. So an ambassador is the highest level of an official that you send to another country. Trial. In a trial, you look at the facts and you do it to determine if someone did a crime or not. So we believe someone did something wrong. Someone did something against the law. Well, we want to find out and look at all of the evidence. Did this person commit a crime or not? So we have a trial. And before the trial, I have to accuse you of something. If I accuse you of something, that means I say you did something wrong. And if it's a crime, maybe you'll go on trial. But it doesn't have to be so serious. A boy could accuse his girlfriend of cheating on him, which is not a crime, it's serious and bad. Or a teacher can accuse a student of cheating on her homework. Tanker. Tanker is a huge ship. It's a very, very large ship on the ocean, and these tankers carry oil. And there's a lot of oil that goes through the Arabian Gulf, the Arabian Sea, sorry, coming out of the Persian Gulf into the Arabian Sea. And there's a lot of oil that comes out on these tankers. And they've been under attack by the pirates we'll talk about in a minute. Okay. Pirate. Pirate is someone who steals on the oceans. Of course, in the last 20 years, there have been a lot of pirates in the western parts of the Indian Ocean around the Arabian Sea and other nearby parts of the Indian Ocean from Somalia, and they have been taking oil tankers among other ships. Violate. Violate is you don't follow, you break a law or rule. Maybe you have a school rule and you violate that school rule. That means you don't follow the school rules. You break the school rules. So you are violating the school rules. And finally, immunity. If you have immunity, you do something, but you can't be punished for it. A very common example. In Washington, D.C., many diplomats park illegally. That's a very common thing in Washington, D.C. But you can't give them a parking ticket. You can't force them to pay a parking ticket for parking illegally because they have immunity. And the immunity is the result of a treaty that was signed and agreed to by nearly every state in the world. Let's practice. Many bring oil to Taiwan every day. Well, Taiwan is an energy-poor country, as we know. We have to import a lot of oil, and that oil comes in on tankers. Number 2, from Somalia cause problems for ships in the Arabian Sea. Well, we just mentioned them, and if you've been watching the news for the last 15 or 20 years, you know that this has been a big problem in the western parts of the Indian Ocean. There have been a lot of pirates. Jack Sparrow is alive and well. Number 3, many people, traffic laws. All right, I admit this is a personal pet peeve of mine. Many people, there's traffic laws, red lights, white lines, yielding at crosswalks, and a lot of people don't follow those rules. You don't follow a rule or a law, you violate. Number 4, he can't be punished because he has. Well, there are many ways to get this. There is diplomatic, of course, but sometimes you make an agreement with the court, and maybe you can get immunity, meaning they can't punish you. And number 5, they will go on because the police believe they stole a lot of money. Well, if the police believe you did something wrong, now you don't just go to jail, don't pass go, don't collect $200. You have to go on trial first. In a modern democratic society, we believe that the state must prove you guilty before you spend time in jail. So you go on trial. So let's review. India barred an Italian ambassador from leaving the country. But finally, Italy has decided to send the Marines back to India to face trial. This has been an installment of News English. 如果你有问题的话，你可以看 Facebook 台中新英格兰美语，还可以看 YouTube TCNE English。如果你在台中，要找英文老师， 也可以在 Facebook 跟我联络。谢谢你的收看。